Hello everyone. We will learn today how to make a room finish schedule. So in our modules, there is a page says Office Project CD resources. So we will follow the example of room finish schedule here. And if you see here, what are the headers for room finish schedule is room number, room name, then we have a floor, materials, and a base. If you remember, we made a 4 and 1/4 inch rubber vinyl base that you will write below the base. Then we will have all four sides of elevation. So north is uh, up for whole floor plan. So you will follow the north arrow and label each room by north, east, south, and west elevation. And each wall, we will write a material and finish. So we will make all the headers for all the wall. Then we will make a ceiling, the material, finish, and the height. And finally, the remark. We don't have to add one more room number. We had room number at the beginning, so we don't have to add again. But we will make all these headers in our room finish schedule in Revit. So now, if you see our level 11, a floor plan, a north is on top. Okay. So if we see the lobby, we have a curtain wall on the north side of the wall and the gypsum wall board. If this is the north, this is your right side is the east wall. So east wall is existing concrete wall. So that's the material, and the finish you can add paint, wallpaper, or whatever you want to add. Then the lobby side, like the front of the entrance where you have, that's the south side. So you will again say the existing concrete and gypsum wall board, and then you will notify paint, wallpaper, wall covering, whatever you are adding. And then this wall will be your west side of the wall, and then you will define the material. So this is gypsum wall board, and then you will add paint or any other wall covering or cladding, or wood covering, whatever you, or wood paneling, whatever you have planned in a design, you will say that's finish it is. Okay. So same you will do for each room, because on site, when a contractor has to prepare the wall, it depends upon what wall covering is. So if you have the wall finish schedule for the room finish schedule, it will be easier for the contractor to prepare a wall to add paint or wallpaper, because each different wall covering will have a different preparation. If you have wants to add wallpaper, there will be a different preparation. If you want to add a paint, there will be a different preparation for just a paint. So it is important before we add a final finish, we should have our room finish uh, schedule ready so contractor can use that to prepare the entire room. Okay. So for if you again consider for office, 1102, the north wall is a curtain wall, east wall is a concrete wall with whatever the finish you have. If we say paint, you can follow the paint or whatever you have, then the gypsum wall board, and south and west will be again a gypsum wall board, so that you can check all your rooms like north, east, south, and west. Okay. And then we will add that kind of materials. Okay. Now let's use the book on page 225 to the last page of the chapter is 231. So we will follow with the book, but if you see on page 225, there is a different room finish schedule, but what we are following is the standard that we follow in industry. So we'll stick to the industry standard and we will follow that. So we need to make more parameter compared to the books, but you can use the steps in the book that they have shown. And if you see on page 225, they have a common interior finishes list that you can use it. So we already use CT, carpet, wood, vinyl composite tile, kind of that kind of we have already labeled our floor finishes. Now we need to label the wall finishes. So you can use paint, P for paint or PT for paint, WC for wall covering, WT for wall treatment, that kind of like a wood paneling or something like that. Or you have some wall base like a ceramic tile on the wall or vinyl base or a wood base. So you can, excuse me, you can label this using this kind of abbreviation. Now let's get started making a new room finish schedule. So if you remember, when we have to make a new finish schedule, to make a room schedule, you need to go in a view and click on schedule, drop down arrow, click on schedule and quantities. And for this time, you need to select a room finish schedule. So you need to go in the category and find room. Select the room and you will get a room schedule here. So instead of room schedule, we will say room finish schedule, and I will say okay. Now we need to create multiple new parameters, but let's see our room finish schedule reference, and we need to add the parameters in our schedule. So follow this. If you don't have, make sure you save this on your computer because this is a really handy reference to make a room finish schedule. So let's start with the room number, then room name. So I will find the room or just say number. Select that, click on this green, and that is go in your parameter, then room name. Let's find room name. We'll add that. And what's the next? You need to add material and a base. So what you need to do, you need to make a new parameter saying floor material and a floor base. So sometimes you will have kind of floor material and floor base. If you don't have, make a new parameter here and then make sure you add a name. Before you add a name here, whenever you have to make a new parameter, you can follow the page on 227 on the book because that shows how you can create a new parameter because you need to create a lot of new parameters. So you need to give whatever you have to give the name from the room finish, either it's a material, the north material, north finish, east material, east finish, whatever you want to select that, make a new parameter. You need to change this data type. If you don't change this, you will not able to change your value later. So you need to make sure, this is a really important step. You need to change the data type to text, then only you're able to add and edit your parameter. You don't have to make sure if it is length or something like that, you will not able to edit your parameter. So now I will say floor base or north material. I already have materials. And then I will say okay. And that north material is get created. So it's like I have north finish, north material, like NN, but I made a new one that says north material. Arrange however you want to. So if we say I have like this similar method you will follow and make your schedule. So now what is it? Material and base. That's a floor material and floor base. So you will create a floor material and floor base. So I already have floor finish. That's a floor material. So I will get that on this side and floor base. I have a base finish that I will get in this side. North material, north finish. So if you see here, north material, I will north finish. So you need to follow the direction. Then you need to go is like when you start with the north, you need to go clockwise. So east material. So you can just double click east finish. Then you have south material and south finish. Then you have west material and west finish. So once you do the floor, then you have the walls that are north material, north, east, south, and west. And then you need to add a ceiling. Okay. So for the ceiling, you need to again add material finishes and the height. Okay. So we will say ceiling materials. If you don't have the parameter, you need to make that. Just double click to add in ceiling finish and ceiling height. So I have added that as well, but make sure you make it. And then the final is remark. So I will find the remark. Or comments, remark or the comments. So I'll just add the comments in there and I will say, okay. And now if you see, your room schedule has ready. But if I am not wrong, you would now, if you're able to see your level 12 as well, you need to filter it. So what you need to do that, if you go all the way down in your properties panel, you need to click on filter, edit, and then filter by, just select the number. If it's none, select is less than and say 1200. You will just say 1200 because that's the way we have labeled our room. And then you will just see all the room numbers that is on level 11. Now you can notice here that the name is already written there as the room numbers and the name. You can arrange that name. Then the floor finish is already there. Can just make this. This I have added. So you can just click on it and type in whatever kind of rubber vinyl you have it. And you can just add, once you add, type in, you can just add for all base finishes. Then when I said about the lobby, let's see the north material I have shown you in the beginning. But if you see the north material, you have the curtain wall and the gypsum wall board. So curtain wall, gypsum wall board that I have already written in there. Then where you have a curtain wall, there will be no finish because it's a glass finish. You just add dash, and then in the slash, wherever you have a gypsum wall board, you will say PT1, PT2. For east material wall is existing concrete wall. So I added a wall covering. So I said WC1. Again for the south wall. So that's the south wall here. I have existing concrete wall, and then I will just say paint or PT1, same kind of one. Paint, and then west is GWB, and I have wall covering too. And then if you notice here on the ceiling materials, you have ceiling materials, ceiling finish, and ceiling height. So ceiling height is, again, it just gets, once you start adding, you can just type in, you can say GWB, because see, this was when I selected, maybe I didn't change to this format. You need to make sure you always select the text. If it's not a text, you will not able to edit, right? So whenever you are making a new room finish schedule, you make sure you change that from length to text, then only you able to edit. Okay, so that I was just doing it very quickly. Now if you notice, we need to make a group of north wall. So what we need to do to make that, now when you have to make sure this is a north material, north finish, you need to group that. So you need to select that, both of them. Like you just need to drag from north material to north finish, and then click on a group, and you get a new header, and I will say north. Now I will just select east material, and in east finish, I will say group. So you need to drag it over that both the tables, so you get a new header, and I will say east. Similarly, you will make floor finish, north elevation, east elevation, south elevation, west elevation. And for ceiling material, ceiling finish and ceiling height is one combined ceiling. Okay, and then you will have everything drop down arrow. You can add multiple. You need to make sure you have go each room, check exact north elevation, what you have, a curtain wall, GWB, what kind of paint. If you have an accent paint, you can add accent paint, and you can find like much, like see, if you see here, you have accent paint. You don't have to write an accent paint like this. You can just say PT2, and then you can say that's an accent paint once you add in legend, right? So when you give much more detail in there, but this is the room schedule that you will work on, and Jasmine will help you in the class. So thank